morning.
Goeiemorgen.
So, how is everybody in this lovely, should I say, winter morning again?
We're back in
We're
winter.
back in winter. Hey, so we had the air cons on during the winter, and then air cons went off, and we had a day or two where we put the air cons back on, but on cold. And this morning the air con is back on, but on heat. So, yeah, that's New Zealand for you. So nothing new. This morning we're talking a bit about health insurance, and there's a rather large amount of people that think it's not needed, and a large amount of people that think it's needed. And yeah, our experiences with the current health situation in New Zealand, which is understaffed, is probably not one of the best currently.
I think there's just a lot of misunderstanding
and
and
myths out there.
about health insurance,
about
what
health
it
insurance.
is, and
Yeah.
I think in general people just want to know what it is and what it's for.
Yeah. So in South Africa, and sorry for the people that tuned in that's not South African. To those who tuned in that's not South African, in South Africa we have a card, and you go to call medical aid. It's not health insurance; it's medical aid. I nearly forgot that. And that normally costs quite a few bucks in South African terms as well. So you've got this card, and you can go to the private hospital. You can just walk in, swipe the card. You go to your doctor, swipe the card. It's also got certain amounts on there that stops you from overspending somebody else's money or the medical aid's money. But things are a bit different down here in New Zealand. First of all, we got ACC. Now, ACC is an interesting thing. That covers you for any accidents. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Okay. Any accidents. And as I say to people, you can be as drunk as a skunk. If that's an accident, ACC will cover you. If you're in a car accident, ACC will cover you. If you fall down in the garden, ACC will cover you. For everything else, you either got to have medical insurance or you got to go to the government hospital. Now, government hospitals, for the new South Africans coming here, is not like the South African government hospitals. It's a big difference. But the biggest problem is to get help right in the first instance. There where you
just
enter.
to get into the system. That's the problem.
That can take, in the past, it used to take about 4 hours. These days, it can take 12 hours or more.
It's the same as when you're in South Africa at the general hospitals. You have to go and sit in line and wait for someone to see you. But as soon as you are past that line and into the hospital itself, then the service is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, then it's a total different ballgame. Yeah.
But it's just the waiting time. That's the problem.
So, and currently the waiting time, as I said, is from about 4 hours to about 12 to 16 hours. I've known of people that sat right through the night just to get something that was bleeding
stopped. So it is bad. It is really bad.
It's not good. But for that, we have A&E. If you can afford to take out the $100 or $150 and go into A&E, you could probably be helped within about an hour. And they can refer you back to the hospital. That's what they did in my case. For health insurance, if there is an emergency, point one, you have a heart attack, you're in a car accident, those type of things, you will go to government hospital. That health insurance will only take over later, or when you get referred by your doctor to a specialist or whatever else. So health insurance is more for the non-immediate important things.
Yeah.
Do you understand that?
So if you need surgery,
that kind of stuff. Cancer, those type of things. Yeah.
That is when health insurance helps you.
So I've heard of somebody who had cancer that went through the government system that took about 4 weeks, and I've heard about somebody else who took about 3 months, depending on how urgent or kind of not urgent.
Cancer is urgent.
Yeah, but the government has got certain criteria about how dringent. What's dringent? I don't know.
Urgent.
Urgent. Yeah, but it's not the same. It's not the same. You don't have urgent cancer, so it is how bad your cancer is.
Yeah.
That don't mean you'll be helped faster. So, but with health insurance, you can be helped within, I would say, a week to 2 weeks at most. You sometimes got to put some pressure on that as well. So, yeah. And then interesting thing is, there's quite a few different health insurances in New Zealand. Some of them only offer certain things. Some of them offer full spectrum. Some of them say they offer a full spectrum, but don't. So it's a bit of a gray area that as well. So the best is to get to a reputable one and stick with that one and build up, how can I say, a reference with them and learn how to use them and learn when not to use them and learn what you can do and can't do with them. So
I've got a question. A lot of people ask about dental care. Is that included in your health insurance?
Oh, yeah, it is.
In some instances, not in
But you got
all.
to pay extra for that.
Yes.
Yeah. The problem with the dental care is they only do a few basic things. And I mean, quite frank, if I'm saying a few basic things, they give you between $500 and $750. I nearly said $750,000, but $750. That's all they give you for dental care for the year.
Okay. And I mean,
so you went to the dentist the other day. What did that cost you?
$350.
What did you do?
You just examined.
Okay. So one examination. If you were certain companies, you would have 1.5 examination for the year. If you are with the other company, you'll have 2 examinations for the year. Everything else is still out of pocket. How expensive is dentists in this country?
Very expensive.
Very expensive.
So you can rather just save a little bit every month on the side if you need to go to the dentist, then pay that out of your pocket.
That's what I tell most of people is rather take $50 a month. And I know for some people this could be a lot of money, but this is so worthwhile in doing this. Is take that $50 a month, put it into a bank account where you can get easy access to them, because if you need a dentist, I feel that's an emergency. You don't think, I'll go into see a dentist in 3 months' time. Okay. You wake up that morning and your back is like this and you just feel, now I'm dying.
Yeah. So if you are wondering, should you get health insurance or should you not? What's the answer?
I'm coming back to an affordability view. If you need to make up your mind between paying a health insurance or a life cover, if you can't afford both, I would rather say go for the life cover portion and have some dreaded disease or trauma cover on that as well. But if you can afford both, have both. It's not a feel-good thing. It's a needed thing for in case something really bad happens to you and you need it.
Yeah.
So remember, it's cheaper than South Africa. It's way cheaper than South Africa, but it's not a cheap exercise as well. A family of 4, let's say a mother, father, and 2 kids, will roughly cost about $300 to $350 per month. Okay. That's sort of basic plan, and that will help you see specialists. And that will help you see.
That will help you get into the system quicker if you need urgent attention like surgery and stuff.
And did you know in South Africa the biggest claimant was, and the men was heart.
Yeah.
And the woman, it was cancer. And in New Zealand, the biggest claimant under men and women, and I'm talking not the biggest by far, 65% or more of all claims comes down to cancer.
Really?
It's that high. So if you take companies like, let me not call the company out there, I'm not bad-mouthing anybody this morning. If you take a specific company that only covers cancer cover, there's a reason behind this, because they have got the stats that shows, I think something like 90%, 97% of all health claims that comes in is cancer-related.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's hectic. And if you think about cancer, there's so many different parts of your body that can get cancer, and every one of them is a different type of cancer.
Yeah.
So
yep.
I just want to say good morning to Vanita. Good morning to everybody else that said good morning.
Yeah.
Guys, if you got questions about health insurance, or you can chip in.
No, I've got nothing to say.
Drop your question down here. There is a lot of other stuff that you can do with health insurance. I don't want to go into all the boring bits here this morning, but you can get health insurance to go and see the doctor. Is it worth it? My real opinion is, if you don't see the doctor that often, it's not worth it, because you are going to pay extra for this. For everything else, it's an add-on.
Yeah.
So basically, you get cover for hospitals, and then you can add on specialists, and then you can add on dentists, and you can add on doctors. So the more prone you are to certain things, add that on. But I can be, in all honesty, I've sold heaps of health insurance. I've never sold a dentist plan with it. I just don't feel it's really worth the while.
Yeah.
To be quite frank.
But I can understand why people ask the question, because dentists are so expensive.
And then if you go for braces and those types of things, that is it's immensely expensive. There's
Yeah.
no other way around that. So
Mm.
it's just crazy,
It
crazy,
is
crazy
crazy.
expensive. So
This is
Yeah.
crazy.
I know a lot of people either go back when they go back to South Africa, they go and they take what they call a dentist holiday and go do their teeth there.
I know that places like Thailand
Oh, yeah.
they offer dentist holidays.
Thailand does that.
Yeah.
Singapore does that. And I see India has also
So
done
your
the
flight
bandwagon.
and your accommodation
Yeah.
and your dental care and everything is
And then you got another week of holiday there.
Yeah.
That costs less than you go to a dentist down here.
Don't know
local.
why
So,
it is that expensive, but it is.
yeah, if there's a dentist listening this morning, please guys tell us. Mora Maritza. Yeah.
Someone said it's because the importing is so expensive, the stuff that they need. I don't know how true that is, and I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. So, but yeah.
But it is what it is.
And dentist is expensive,
Nothing
and
you can
once
do
you are
about
going
it.
to cross that bridge, it's like the dark void going in there, because you've got to go back now to the dentist again and again and again. Am I right?
Yeah.
So I think you should probably get a second job doing something at Pack and Save or Car. It can be a new type of thing in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Is there any questions, guys, regarding health insurance? And we had a lot of questions that was asked from us. Why would you not want health insurance? A lot of people feel that they are healthy enough and they are willing to stomach the little weight at government.
Look,
and
if
so forth.
You can't afford health insurance, I think it's not really necessary to have health insurance.
Yeah, if you're willing to take
Probably
that.
the older you get, the more important it becomes to have it.
But the big problem is, once you have a problem, they'll probably exclude that problem from going forward. You understand?
Okay.
It's a bit of a catch-22 situation.
So it's better to get it while you're still healthy.
Yeah. Morning to Marla, morning to Maritza, morning to Michiel. A lot of people just saying morning. So good morning to everybody out there. The biggest problem is once you are in this situation that you need health insurance, you probably ain't going to get it for that specific ailment that you do have. So they allow certain ailments, and we've got a company that allow a lot of ailments after 3 years. Now, what we've discussed yesterday with them is they allow these ailments under a more expensive plan.
Okay.
So after 3 years, these ailments will be automatically included, and then you can move down to a lower plan, which you take that inclusive.
Okay, so there are options.
There is options around this, but remember, if everything else in New Zealand, it costs a few dollars.
Yeah.
So it's money at the end of the day.
And then you also still have to remember that the medical, if you're in the system in New Zealand, the help you get is really great.
Oh, yeah.
The
biggest thing is to get into the system.
Yeah, that's
because these days you go and see the doctor goes around and say, okay, I don't know exactly what's wrong with you, let me Google that. And then the doctor comes back and says, you need to see a specialist, and then the doctor sends it off to the specialist. So
and that's where the
waiting period comes in.
The thing is, I've heard of people that have to have like a back operation and stuff, and then they have to wait. One guy had to wait for 8 months. Now you can imagine working with back pain.
He's still lucky.
For 8 months.
He's still lucky. The average for hip replacement is currently about between 14 to 18 months.
You see, the thing is just if you have to walk around with that pain all the time, that's what I'm just thinking about. Where if you had health insurance, you can go to a private hospital and get help immediately.
And the catch there is once you're in that problem, you got the problem, you feel it's hip replacement time, then you can't join a health insurance.
No.
So yeah, bit of a catch-22.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Way big catch-22. So and big thing is, guys, go to your GP. They must probably sign off everything for the health insurance as well. Although there is certain other criteria. If you've been once to the GP, you can go back and see the specialist if the GP has said that time he was going to see a specialist in a year's time or so. Yeah. But let's talk a bit about the health insurance or the health from New Zealand side. If your local GP, this is just for the new people, the old people must know all about this. If your GP gives you a letter to do some bloods, that is probably one of the most easiest services that I've ever encountered in my life. These days, the GP doesn't even give you a letter anymore.
On the system.
Yeah, it just says, go for bloods. Mine will just phone me and says, time for your bloods, go.
Yeah, and you can go to any lab. The thing is with the medical system in New Zealand, if you're on the system, everyone anywhere in New Zealand can access your medical information, any medical practice, shall I say, not everyone. But so you go to the hospital and something happens, it's immediately on the system. So when you go back to the doctors, you'll know exactly where you've been, what they've done. And the same with the hospital. If you go to hospital, they get your medical history immediately. So they know exactly what medication you're on. So there's no doctor hopping, can I say, and yes, nothing's to hide. They know everything about you, which is a good thing.
And even from insurance side, if you put out there that you've got any type of problem, they just send a note to the doctor. Doctors gives them whatever they want to. That's within 2 to 3 days. And
and
normally,
you can't lie. Like with life insurance and stuff, you rather just declare everything that you've done, even
but
everything.
I also want to say this. Make sure what your GP has on file for you. Make sure. For the joke of this, I don't even know if you know about this. I have now been diagnosed with high blood pressure.
And you've never had
I've never had high blood pressure. So I still got to go back to the GP. I just, by accident, saw that on my file. So I've now got high blood pressure. So I've got to go back to the GP and say, hey, you got to remove this because this is not.
And the thing is, if you want to apply for a life cover or whatever,
that'll pop up. And if I said, no, I don't have any high blood pressure, it'll pop up and say, oh, but you could have probably not spoken the truth. I don't want to say you lied in New Zealand. It's not spoken the truth. Let's see there. Vanita Hubbins is saying, I would recommend health insurance. My daughter needed 4 wisdom teeth removed. If that's the one that I will cover.
Yes.
Insurance covered 5,400. We had to pay the excess. Now, when Vanita talks about an excess is the amount that you will pay before the time. And it's up to you to choose that. It can either be from 0 to 50, 500, all the way up to $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. But you got to remember that's got to be paid by you. The more the excess, the cheaper the cover will be. The cheaper the price will be. So
and Melissa's also saying you can access all your medical reports even before you see the doctor. That's true. I think you
there's 2 different systems, I know.
Yes.
And the doctor's got to link it to that system. You just got to ask your doctor to link it that. And our doctors have moved from the one system to the other system. I don't know why. I just think the second system is not as good as the first system. But I still could access all my latest bloods. And I had to do a full blood screening the other day. And I could go on there and I could see. And the nice thing about the bloods here is they show you where if you are in a danger area or not. So I could go through every blood and see. Luckily I'm all in range of all of these.
So you've got insight in your medical information.
And that's where I picked up that I've got high blood pressure.
Yes,
so
which you don't have.
Otherwise I would have never even known that's on the doctor's notes. So I will have to go back to my doc and say, hey,
where did you get this from?
But I think one of the problems is because you see so many different doctors at the same practice. It could be that something just stuck in that guy's head and he just wrote the high blood.
So, probably true. I try to see the same one every time, but it's not always possible.
I've also now gone to the point where if it's not that deadly urgent, that I stick to my doctor. Is a South African. I actually reckon it's probably one of the most brilliant doctors you can think of. So, and he's very good with a scalpel.
Oh, yes.
He had to remove something on the side of my eye. Jeez. He did it like crazy. So,
good. Okay, what else is there on the health side that we can maybe discuss?
Can I just say something? And I know the government does this as well, but most of the health insurances is if you have got a problem that you can't really sort out in New Zealand, some of them are willing to pay for you to go to Australia. I know government also does that, and then some of the health insurances are also willing. For you, if you are in New Zealand and you're all alone and you want to go back to, let's say, South Africa or India, wherever you come from, and have the operation down there, they're willing to pay you 75% of the operational cost in New Zealand.
Okay, so to go where you've got a support system.
So if you are alone in New Zealand, you've got to have this operation and you've got to have your mother look after you and give you some nice food every day.
And I think another thing with the health insurance correct me if I'm wrong, but you can get sometimes non-pharmac medication, which you would not get from the government.
Government uses a system called pharmac, and pharmac medicine is old and trusted medicine. So these medicine have proven their points, and they're at this point that they won't really kill you if it's not the right thing for you. So that is how government safeguards themselves at the end of the day against, I would say, claims and so forth. But with health insurance, they have got certain amounts. Please be careful of the amounts down there. They've got certain amounts available for you to go for non-pharmac drugs. Some of the health covers have got cancer-only non-pharmac drugs. Some of the others got non-pharmac drugs for more than only
that
cancer.
Is an extra.
That is not always an extra. But you can take out sometimes extra cover for that as well.
No, I'm saying it's an extra perk.
It's an extra perk. Because medicine changed so quickly, and mostly the stuff that government uses is about 20 years old. Tried and tested, I know, but you get stuff that these days work much faster. But government is not willing to pay for that. And I actually saw something in the newspaper the other day. Somebody had to do some cancer treatment for himself. That would have cost him $75,000 per month. Although government wasn't willing to pay for this, the health insurance also would have only paid up to a certain point. So I know, just remember they don't pay 100% for everything. You've got to make sure where the cutoffs is.
Okay.
So
Benita's asking a question, which I can't answer.
I'll probably get you to a doctor after this with his cough. Benita is asking, is that with all health providers? Do they all cover overseas operations? No, not with all health providers. You've got to see from your different health providers and find out who covers overseas operations. But remember, the overseas operations, either it is they will pay you at a set amount and you go and do the thing and that is done with them, or some of them will allow you to go to Australia, for instance, because the operation can't be done successfully in New Zealand. That is the criteria. If it can't really be done here, we know about a lady in the South Island that was moved to Australia the other day, and she miraculously came through that. It's massive operation.
Massive heart operation.
Massive heart operation and a lung operation at the same time.
It was something that they couldn't do in New Zealand. And then they paid for her
companion to go
with accommodation. Everything was paid. So it is really actually amazing.
It is, and most of that was done by government, by the way.
Yes, it was government.
I think the health insurance kicked in there as well for her. I haven't got 100% of all the facts on who paid for what, but I know most of this was government driven. So
so you are in good hands, as we say. If you can just get into the system. If you're in the system, then you are in good hands.
The big thing is, guys, just don't give up.
Yeah. It's not nice to go and sit there, but I must say that at our A&E, which they open from 8, I think, to 9 in the evenings. And if you go there, and it is a major problem. So say you go there, you pay your $50 or $100 or whatever, and they assess you and they find that it's actually something that's really urgent, that you need to be hospitalized or whatever. They will call the hospital and the hospital will be waiting for you. So at least then you've only waited, say, for an hour, and you go straight to hospital, you give your letter, they know about you, and they immediately take you into the system. So there are options, but then you have to pay for it. So just take that in mind.
Yeah, and guys, if you go that route, you'll be straight into hospital. And that's no issues, no questions asked, because these guys work very close together on a basis that is good for you at the end of the day. So any other questions down here? Let me see. No, none yet. Have you got any other questions?
No, I've got no other questions. I think what I can say, just for the women out there, with regards to mammograms and stuff, in South Africa, you paid through your neck to go for a mammogram. And in New Zealand, when you're above the age of 45, your mammograms are free. You go every second year. They just remind you, you pitch up. The first time I had to go, I was like, okay, so what do I owe you? And it's like, no, it's for free.
Very big.
So until I think the age of 65 or something. But if you are younger than 45, then you have to pay for your mammograms. I'm not sure how much it is, but the thing is now that most of the ladies that I've met now that was diagnosed with breast cancer was below the age of 45. Some of them even in their late 30s. So
it is something I feel, I'm sorry, this is from a male perspective. I think it's 10 years too late.
I think so.
No, that is honestly my opinion. I think it's 10 years too late. I just think they should do it from age 30, not from age 40. So, and the interesting is there's a lot of cancers these days that pop up earlier.
Yes.
In the old days, it's only the older people that, not older, geez, I sound like an old person now. But a while back, it was only the older people that got these type of cancers, or if you are in your older age. But these days, I feel the cancers are so much earlier. I don't know if it's the lifestyle we live. I mean, I don't want to open this to conspiracy theorists, but yeah. So
yes, so there are some of the medical things that you don't need to pay for, which is really good. So just go for your examinations.
Just go for that, guys. And if government brings out something and it can help you do it, why not? So
yeah.
You got 3 minutes to tell people about Louis Brits.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, why not?
You should actually just advertise that again. Louis Brits and Stella Gombrink and 2 other Christian musicians are coming to New Zealand in November. And they're going to be in Auckland, Whangarei, Hamilton and Tauranga. Tauranga, they're on the 20th of November. I don't know a lot about the other venues and what it entails, so I'm just involved in the Tauranga one. It is on a Monday, but that's the day that we've got, so that we'll make the best of it. And it's actually a good outing, and there'll be food if you want to eat. You can buy some food. So it's a night off for mom, and just come and enjoy the evening.
And the food's going to be cheap, guys, really good.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like a South African food.
It's like a curry and rice, and
borsbroodjies,
hot
dogs for the kids, curry and rice for the adults.
So that's going to be a really, really good evening.
Yeah.
Praise and worship.
So enjoy, and
we'll see you
next week.
Next week.
Same time, same place. All right.
Bye.
Bye.